One, I'm getting over a cold, so I sound like Monica in Friends when she's like, I'm fine. So excuse that. Two, we're going to try to be quiet because my son is sleeping, and we're going to see if we can record this before he wakes up. And three, my lighting is bad. So, sorry, that's what we're working with. Hello, welcome to another episode of Caffeinated Cast-Ons. My name is Therese, also known as Caffeinated Cast-Ons. Welcome. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I apologize for all the congestion sounding. I'm getting over a cold. We were all very phlegmy this week, and we are getting over it. I'm the last one to reach the finish line, so a little under the weather, but we're going to keep going. Hold on. Just set up my monitor. Okay. Oh yes. Okay, let me back up. I said hello. It is November 16th, and it's probably almost 9 o'clock in the morning. I am a North Texas-based knitter, and this is just my YouTube channel where I share my projects that I'm making. This is basically a video version of Ravelry project pages, which I will leave the project pages linked down below in the description box about the projects I'm going to talk about today. We've got finished objects, some whips, new cast-ons. Yeah, so let's jump into it. I hope you have your beverage of choice. I've got some coffee. So grab your coffee, tea, whatever it is that you're drinking, your projects, and let's talk and catch up on what I've been working on this week. I do have a finished object, and I'm so excited about this one. So, oh, hold on. This is going to be a little messy. I bound off literally last night. And that is my Ranunculus. Look at that. So this is the Ranunculus. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who it's by. Like I mentioned, the project page will be linked down below. And I finished this last night. I knit the size 2. And I did fingering weight excuse me, I did fingering weight held double to get this DK gauge. Hold it this way. And I did the short sleeve version. And I used 3 skeins of U2 yarn on their Fabulo sock. And it is 85% merino, 15% nylon. The lot, it doesn't have a colorway name, but the lot is GB86, and it is this purpley toned gray. And there is 394 yards or 360 meters per 100 grams. So that's what we are working with. I did use all 3 skeins. This is how much I had left over. So really not a lot. I had just enough. I still need to weave in the ends, and it needs a blocking, but I'm super excited. I think it's gonna block beautifully, especially to have like the yoke be more defined. I'm super excited for that. And I knit the body. Oh, hold on, let me back up. The gauge for this, I believe it was 3.5 stitches per inch, if I did my math correctly, because I know it gives it over, usually over 4 inches by 4 inches. I always like to know just what do I need to have per inch. So I believe it was 3.5 inches. And since I used DK, fingering held double, I sized up to a US 10.5 needle, and that gave me a gauge of 4 stitches per inch. So only off by half a stitch, but I knew I was going to be using a bit more yarn since it is more getting more stitches into that inch. But I used a US 10.5 for the body, and then I used a US 9 for the bottom hem here. And really the only modification I did is I just knit the body until the length I wanted it to be. The hem, I knit just under what it called for. I think it was 3 inches. I think this is probably 2 point something inches. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do with the sleeve, so I put them on hold. After I finished the body, I picked it back up, just knit a couple rounds, I think 5 rounds, and then bound off in a traditional bind off, and then I did traditional bind off in pattern on the hem. So I didn't do any of the stretchy bind offs. And this is pretty, like you can see, this is stretchy yarn. So I think blocking, it's just going to be even more of a perfect fit. And there is some positive ease in there already, but I think with the blocking, I'm really going to get some beautiful positive ease that I'm looking for in this garment. So I am so excited about it. And I feel like this really, one, it was a fun pattern. I really enjoyed it. Very easy to follow. The tutorial videos in there, because there were some new techniques that I wasn't familiar with, and the videos helped tremendously. And it was a quick knit. Like I mentioned, I knit the size 2, and I finished this in like 3 weeks and 2 days. That's the fastest I've ever knit like a garment for myself. So this definitely put some pep in my knitting mojo step. Yeah, so that's it for that project. I don't know what I'm going to do with this scrap. Like, it's really not a lot left over. Maybe I'll throw it in a scrappy sock or just put it in my DK jelly blanket. It'll be a few rows. I don't know. Yeah, I need to clean out this project bag though. I'm done with that. But that was my finished object for this week. Whips for this week. I did 4 rows probably of my DK jelly blanket, so I'm not going to show that just because I really was focused on my ranunculus and getting that done. I did work on some scrappy socks. So I forgot to put, gosh, this light is awful. I'm so sorry, you guys. I really need to reconfigure this room. I forgot to put a progress keeper from last week, but I'm working on these scrappy socks, which is scraps of another pair of scrappy socks that I made. And I'm on the leg of both socks. And once I run out of the color that I'm on, I think this one's a little further behind. Yep. Then I'm going to add one final color for the cuff. Aren't those so fun though? Sorry, can't really see because the light. Here we go. Super fun. So I hope to finish those this week. I just need to decide what the cuff color is going to be. But I'll need to get a progress keeper on those so I can really show what I did. Yeah, so not much to those. I think what I am gonna do with these though, I did have a pair of scrappy socks that I did with the same yarns. And I think I did like 10 rounds per stripe until I went through all the scraps, and I ended up donating those. And I think I'm going to do the same thing with these, and I'll talk more about that whenever I talk about Simple Joys here in a minute. I do have one new cast on for this week. I cast on a Musbara, and here's what I've got so far. So I've done the crown and the increases, so now I'm just in the straight stockinette part. I am knitting this on, hold on. I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't know if it's Barraco or Barraco. Barraco, I want to say. But that's the yarn. And it is on Comfort. And it is worsted weight. And it is 50% superfine nylon, 50% superfine acrylic. And typically this is not the yarn I would use for a musselburgh, but it's machine washable. It's very soft, and I plan on donating this as well. So I was trying to find something that didn't have wool in it, so in case people have allergies, that they would be able to wear it no problem. And so I'm not sure of the color because I don't know where the label is, but it's just this like deep mauve color. This is, oh goodness, this like purpley, icy purpley color is 9715, and I think this is only 210 yards. So I plan on making it like a half and half hat. Sorry, the lighting is just getting worse. So I'll knit as far as I can with this color, probably halfway, and then switch to this color. That way it can be like an inside out wear whichever way. Yeah, it's really soft. I like it a lot. It won't have a whole lot of structure to it because of the fiber content. It is very drapey, but I think with it double lined, it'll have a bit more structure. It'll just be a really soft hat to wear. So that is what I've done this week. I think this one is going to be a shorter one. One, because of this, because of me not feeling well. Two, because of the light. And three, like, my son's still asleep, but I need to start making his breakfast soon. Okay, let's talk about goals for the week. So I'd like to finish those pair of vanilla socks. Very doable. I'm in the leg. I think they're going to end up being a little bit shorter. I think so far I've got 30 rounds in the leg right now, and I think that's a good length. I'd like to get halfway on my musselburgh. And that's nice because it's just in the round. Oh, I forgot to say what needle size I used on that. Since it is worsted, I did go up for my traditional needle size on that. This is a size 8, US 8, which is 5 millimeters. So since it is worsted, I've gone up. I think with musselburghs, I've used either a US 2 or a US 4, I believe. Yeah, so I'd like to get halfway done on that. And then I would like to cast something new on. So I don't know if that's going to be either a pair of socks for myself or a beanie for myself, or just socks to donate or another beanie to donate, because well, I'll tell you what, we're going to jump into 3 simple joys and wrap her up. Yeah. Well, I want to donate them. And part of that is in my simple joys. Basically, there are some community pantries around my town where those who don't have financial means or those experiencing homelessness, it's just a pantry where people can drop off donations and people can just drive up to them anytime and take what they need. I took some donations this past week. I took some like canned tuna, crackers, nut butter pouches, fruit cups, what else? Like a box of mac and cheese. I took a lingering can of formula that we still had, some diapers that we had outgrown. Yeah, so I just took what I could, and then I had a pair of socks and then a couple other knit things that I wasn't going to use, and so I dropped those off as well. And it's getting ready to get very chilly here in North Texas, and so it just felt really nice to donate those, and I'd like to make it a point to donate more things. I haven't gone back to see if anyone had grabbed them. But I really hope that they help somebody. Sorry. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and dive into my 3 simple joys, and we will sign off because okay. So simple joy number 1 is a day off. I took yesterday off of work and it was super nice. I'm trying to use the rest of my PTO before the end of the year. I can have some rollover up to a certain amount, but I'm just throwing in some days for myself for rest. And yesterday was the day that I took off and it was so nice. I had an eye doctor appointment and then I went and got myself coffee. One of my favorite coffee shops. I went and got my nails done, which is super nice. You can't really see them. The lighting is bad. But I went and got my nails done, which was needed. And it was just really nice to have that day to myself. I think I'm definitely gonna, besides like Christmas and Thanksgiving, I think I'm gonna sprinkle in 1 or 2 more days off before the end of the year. Simple joy number 2 was donating to my local pantry. I think it was just really great. In a restaurant in town, they had announced that they were closing for Thanksgiving, but that their drive-through window was going to remain open, and they're handing out food to anyone who doesn't have anywhere to go or can't afford like Thanksgiving meal. So that just really inspired me to give where I can to my local pantries. It's definitely hard times on everyone right now, and I feel like I didn't give much, but I know it's something and it meant something to someone. So I really hope to continue that. And simple joy number 3 was really my knitting mojo coming back. I feel like, especially with taking the last 2 weeks off, before last week's episode, I was knitting, but it's I don't know, I feel like that was just a weird time, and especially finishing my ranunculus, I was oh yes, I finished another garment for myself. That was so nice. And so I'm very excited to plan what I'm going to cast on next for myself as a garment. I'll probably do a couple small projects before I cast something else on, because I'm not exactly sure what I want to cast on. I have yarn to cast on a fingering weight version of a ranunculus in a variegated yarn, since this one was tonal. But I don't know if I want to start that right away or not. The yarn is beautiful, but I don't know if I want to knit the same thing back to back. Okay, I'm doing this because the lighting is getting awful. I need curtains or something. So I will let you go. This one was a fast one, but I just wanted to make sure I stopped by this week to say hello and give you an update on what I'm knitting on. I'm gonna go finish my coffee, make my son and I breakfast, and get some rest and take more medicine to get over the last bit of this cold. So let me know what you're working on this week down below. I'd love to know a goal that you have. So until next time, stay caffeinated.